Plutarch on Envy. It is believed that envy doesn't differ at all from hate, but is, in fact, the same. In a general sense, vice is likened to a line with many hooks, moving back and forth with attached passions, creating opportunities for various connections and entanglements among them. The analogy draws a parallel between vice and diseases, suggesting that the inflammation of one passion can trigger the intensification of others. Consequently, a fortunate person becomes a source of distress for someone experiencing both hate and envy. Goodwill is seen as contradictory to both hate and envy, since it involves a wish for the prosperity of one's neighbor. Hatred and envy are considered equivalent, as their objectives oppose that of friendship. However, recognizing that similarities don't conclusively establish identity, the passage suggests settling the question by examining dissimilarities, starting with the origin of the two passions. Hate, in essence, stems from the belief that the person being hated is inherently bad, either in a general sense or specifically towards the individual harboring the hate. It is a natural inclination for people to experience hatred when they perceive themselves wronged. Additionally, individuals tend to disapprove and feel repulsion towards those engaged in wrongdoing or wicked behavior. On the other hand, envy is triggered by the mere appearance of prosperity. This suggests that envy, unlike hate, knows no bounds and is comparable to sensitive eyes disturbed by anything shining brightly. In contrast, hate is constrained and always directed towards specific subjects. Furthermore, hatred can extend to irrational animals, with some individuals harboring animosity towards creatures like weasels, beetles, toads, or snakes. For instance, Germanicus had an aversion to the sound or sight of a cock. The Persian Magi not only personally detested water mice, but believed that God also found the animal offensive, leading them to kill it. This sentiment is shared by many Arabs and Ethiopians. In contrast, envy is a phenomenon exclusive to interactions between human beings. Envy is unlikely to arise among animals because they lack the awareness of each other's fortunes, and they are not influenced by concepts such as glory or disgrace, which tend to exacerbate envy. On the other hand, mutual hatred, hostility, and relentless conflict can exist between certain animal species, such as eagles and snakes, crows and owls, and titmice and goldfinches. There are even accounts suggesting that the blood of titmice and goldfinches does not mix but separates into distinct streams when the animals are killed. Additionally, in lions, a strong hatred of cocks, and in elephants, a disdain for swine may be rooted in fear, as animals naturally tend to hate what they fear. In this context, it becomes evident that envy differs from hatred in the animal kingdom, as the former is absent while the latter is present in certain circumstances. Envy is never justified, as no one is unjustly fortunate, and it is this good fortune that elicits envy from others. Conversely, there are many instances where hatred is justified, particularly toward those considered deserving of hate. Society often praises the hatred of wickedness, and individuals openly admit to hating certain people. However, when it comes to envy, people tend to deny experiencing it. Even when evidence suggests otherwise, individuals offer various excuses, such as claiming anger or hatred instead, concealing their envy under alternative names. Envy seems to be the only passion among the disorders of the soul that people are reluctant to acknowledge openly. These passions, like plants, need sustenance to grow, and they are intensified by different circumstances. Hatred tends to increase as the hated person progresses in vice, while envy intensifies with the apparent progress of the envied person in virtue. This explains why Themistocles claimed he was doing nothing remarkable as a youth, because he was not yet envied. Envy tends to attach itself most to individuals who are virtuous and gaining recognition. On the contrary, unredeemed villainies intensify hatred. False charges against Socrates, considered the epitome of baseness, led to the hatred and isolation of the accusers, highlighting the profound impact of hate. However, supreme and resplendent good fortune can extinguish envy. For instance, it's unlikely that anyone envied Alexander or Cyrus when they became rulers of the world. Like the sun obliterating shadows, significant success can diminish envy. Hate, on the other hand, is not easily swayed by the preeminence of enemies. Alexander faced many who hated him, leading to plots against him despite the absence of envy. Misfortunes, while putting an end to envy, may not stop hatred. Humbled enemies can still be hated, whereas the unfortunate are typically not envied. This distinction underscores the significant difference between hate, which persists regardless of fortune, and envy, which wanes when either extreme fortune or misfortune is present. Let's now explore the negative aspect of the same principle, or rather, let's examine it from a different perspective. People abandon hostility and hatred when they are convinced that no injustice is being done to them, or when they come to see those they hated as good, or finally, when they receive some benefit from them. Thucydides aptly notes that the final service, though small if opportunely bestowed, wipes out a greater disservice. However, the first circumstance does not eliminate envy. Individuals may still feel envy even when convinced that no injustice has been committed against them from the start. The other two circumstances actually exacerbate envy. Envious individuals scrutinize more closely those who have a reputation for goodness, as they believe these individuals possess the greatest blessing, virtue. Even if the envious receive some benefit from those who are fortunate, they are tormented by envy for both the intention and the power. The intention stems from virtue, and the power comes from good fortune, both considered blessings. This distinction sets envy apart from hatred, as what soothes one torment and embitters the other. Let's now isolate and scrutinize the intention of each of these two passions. The intention of the hater is to cause harm, and the definition of hate can be summarized as a certain disposition and intention patiently awaiting the opportunity to inflict harm. In the case of envy, this intention is notably absent. Envious individuals might be tormented by the good fortune of their peers, yet there are many among their intimates and connections whom they would not wish to see destroyed or endure misfortune. Although they may seek to diminish their fame and glory when possible, they would not go so far as to afflict them with irreparable calamities. Instead, they are content to bring down the part that casts a shadow over their own achievements, much like a house towering above theirs.